I'm Sonia Miller, and I'm a creative. Travel with me throughout the beautiful Laurel Highlands. I'm looking for other makers, people who use their imagination to bring to life an idea, product, or who are creating something that's just plain cool. Let's find and meet them together. Join me as I share their stories.
Hey friends, welcome back to another episode of Meet the Maker. I am Sonia Miller, your host today. So if you are somebody that loves to travel to festivals and craft fairs all throughout our viewing area, you may have seen already my amazing guest today. Her name is Stephanie, and she is what I affectionately like to call a traveling potter. Yes, she loves to take her show on the road. So today we take our show on the road. We get to connect with Stephanie in a super special show coming live right now from her pottery shop here in Uniontown. And I hear she's going to throw something today. What does that even mean? I don't know. Let's go check it out. Stephanie!
Hey, how's it going, Sonia?
This is awesome!
Welcome back to the shop.
So when you're not on the road, this is where you hang out?
This is the place.
It is so nice to see you. Listen, I'm going to come to the other side of the table and hang out with you over there too as well. So when I came in here, I thought that maybe I would hear like, I don't know, you told me you were going to throw some things today? Like, does Stephanie have like temper tantrums? Does she throw stuff at the wall? Like, what does that even mean? It's so nice to see you, by the way. What does that even mean though when you throw clay?
We throw clay. So clay starts from a ball, right?
Okay.
Very simply. And they call it throwing because we're manipulating it on the wheel. And I'm going to show you all that today.
Oh, it's going to be a great time. Oh my God, Rick was over there. I'm like, oh. It's going to be a great show today. I can already feel it. Oh my gosh. Okay, well, before we get any further, I have to introduce you guys to my friend Stephanie. Give us like the whole deal, your name, your business name, because people are going to want to find you, which I know, guys, after watching this show, you're going to be like, how do I get in touch with her? We'll put all the links below right here on the actual screen as well. But take it away. Tell us who you are. How would you introduce yourself?
So I tell people I'm Stephanie McLean. I have this little shop here. This is my home studio. So you could come here and take a class as a private lesson. You can come here and maybe place an order. You can do some shopping at 86 West Main Street in Uniontown.
Nice.
So I'm a part of the Uniontown Art Club, a local nonprofit. I started throwing about 7 years ago. So it kind of started out just as an interest and it really built from there. Did do this in school. If people want to find me today, you can go to www.facebook.com/shop4pottery. You can go there, you can make special orders, you can see my work, and you can even contact me to schedule a class.
Wow, this is pretty cool. So how exciting is it for us to get to actually see the behind the scenes happening? And it is cool. You didn't have to walk a whole long ways to come to work, right?
I didn't.
How did this all happen? Like, how do you get to be so lucky to be able to come to work here today? Like, did you have a former life? Like, how did this even come to be?
It was a slow process. Just like anything.
It's a journey.
And you know, your family, your friends are concerned because they're like, you're gonna do what? You're gonna make art?
What?
They're like, no.
It's the starving artist, right? Everybody knows the starving artist.
I always told everyone you have to be a smart artist.
True.
A smart artist. So when I started, I did not just jump right out of college and start this pottery shop, right? So I had odd jobs, I worked multiple jobs. You know, I started to slowly save some money, got my first pottery wheel, bought my first kiln. This was not my first kiln. I got this one after a year of work, but so I bought this little $200 kiln on eBay.
Okay.
And I told my husband, if we can make this work and the pottery shop can provide for itself, maybe one day in 10 years, I would somehow have a shop. Well, 10 years was actually only 1 year. And things really just took off. It was amazing.
Oh my goodness. All right, okay, I'm excited. I want to hear more about your story. Can we like take out some clay, fling some clay, although I think it's throwing clay. True. Can we fling some clay to begin with? And I want to hear more about your story.
Yeah.
So this little area over here, is this where kind of like, is this where the creations begin? It's nice
this is
and
how
clean
it starts.
and all like, oh, this looks like an amazing place to start for something fresh. Isn't it amazing how when you create that it starts from nothing?
It does, and especially with pottery. You know, you're a painter, so you know how sometimes you can see it and you already see the potential in it. For me as a potter, this bag of clay is the potential.
So you're telling me that this bag of clay is the potential.
That's the potential. That will, you know, one day turn into this.
Wow, guys, let's go take a look at this. Okay, before we even get to that, let's like see the finished product. So you're telling me that bag of clay to this.
To this.
To this.
Exactly. It's a labor of love. That's what I tell her. It's a labor of love.
Wow. So you really love to get into your work, Stephanie.
Oh, yes.
Is what you're telling me. I mean, could there be a day where you would never come to your shop? I mean, is that a very rare occasion?
It is very, very rare. I'm out here at night, I'm out here at the day, you know, break of dawn, who knows, anytime. The clay is a temperamental thing, and it's a lot to do with timing.
Yes.
So whenever something has to be finished, I have to be out here doing it.
All right, okay, let's see it work. I'm excited. Oh my goodness, and the colors that you use are beautiful. Look guys, look up here. So I'm assuming this is like all, like I'm seeing your pottery with all these different colors on it. So this must be like your options?
Yeah, so these are our test tiles. So if you've ever had experience with glaze and you start to open the jars, you're gonna notice that they aren't really true to color. So much like when you go to Home Depot and you buy paint, you look at those little swatches.
Yes.
These are the swatches. These are our test tiles is what we call them.
Okay, so you know what it's really like? It's like when somebody gives you a box of chocolates at Christmas and you really know what's inside. And you have the key.
Yes.
Because you could totally bite into something that was totally disgusting that you did not mean to.
It's true.
Who knows what I'm talking about?
It's true.
So it's nice to have the visual key, the legend. I like it.
Yes.
Okay, so something's going to come out of this big blob. This is going to be interesting. This is going to be interesting. So, you know, I have seen Ghost. Have all your students seen Ghost?
Oh, I'm sure.
The Demi Moore, Patrick Swayze moment. Who knows what I'm talking about, right? And she made this most amazing vase. So when I think about like movies with pottery, that's probably the first one that I think about. What about you?
Everyone does.
Yeah?
Everyone does. And we always joke at shows and things because if I had a, you know, they say that if you had a dime for every time.
Somebody said it.
So
Yep.
people come up, and what's hilarious is they start with, "Have you ever heard of ghosts?"
Never, ever.
And I'm
in my
like,
life.
"You're the first person to say that to me." You know?
Do you remember watching that scene then as a like, you know, and a potter is the universal term for like male and female, right? Are you a potter?
Potter.
There's not no potteress or anything
No,
like
right.
that.
Potter is correct.
Potter is correct. Okay. But do you remember when you watched that scene? Like, were you doing pottery at the time?
I wasn't actually, like when I seen it for the first time, you know, and I was young and honestly not even interested in the movie because like I was too young like to even understand it. But
now you know.
Yeah.
And it's iconic, right?
It is. It's iconic. And some potters even advertise like ghost date nights and things. I haven't gone that far. But
too funny.
Oh yeah. Oh yeah.
So what about the hubby? Do you guys do your own ghost date nights?
No, you know, he will tell you that he carries the boxes.
Really?
People are hilarious. They'll come up to him and show, "Oh, you help her make this?" He's like, "I can't. I couldn't even begin." He tried one night just for the heck of it, and he sat on the wheel and he just literally just clobbered it. Like, couldn't even the first step. And he's like, "Nope, not for me."
This is why I think it's so interesting to be here to see how you take it from this to like a finished piece. Do you know what I mean? And I know you're going to throw it on the wheel and all that good stuff because is it as easy as it looks? I mean, you know, what's your, when you see students that come in, like, is there that perception that this is going to be so easy?
Everyone has that. I mean, people will even message me and go, "Hey, what are we making on the first class night?" And I was like, "A ball of clay is what you're making."
Okay, friends, so this is our first class date night. All right, Stephanie.
Yes.
All right, take it away, girl.
All right.
What are we going to do with that ball?
The first thing I would ask you, like, let's say if you're taking a class here with me, and I'm going to cut the clay up, and I'm going to say, I'm going to measure this clay, I'm going to weigh it out. Why do you think that's something I should do? So that's what I kind of run them through the drill.
Okay.
So, and then I go through and I let them guess, and most people get it. But the idea is we want to know, so if I was saying, "Sonia, I want you to make a mug," and you're going to say, "I don't know how much clay. Do I need this much clay or this much clay?" Right? So the first thing we do is we weigh out some clay.
Okay.
And I have a nice little cheat sheet here for the students so they can see, right?
So practice makes perfect, and so you pretty much know now to make one of your pieces how much you're going to need.
Yeah, because some people want more consistency. Someone might call me and say, "Hey, I want to order 50 mugs. Can they look, you know, all the same?" And we try, you know, I tell people, something that's hand thrown is never going to look all the same, but we can get it close.
Right.
And then there's other people who are like, "You know what? I don't care. You just go for it. Just make whatever shape, whatever style, and that's what we want." So if you need consistency, that's a good way to start is by weighing it. And also, you don't want to waste the clay, right?
True. Hey, we're making one-of-a-kind pieces here today. I think that's pretty amazing.
So I weighed this out.
Okay.
And now I have to wedge it. So some people call this kneading, some people call it wedging. And basically what I'm doing is I'm pressing it forward, I'm rolling it up, and then I just continue this motion for about 30 presses or so. This removes the air and it gets the clay workable.
Oh, okay.
So air bubbles in clay, just like when you're baking, are just no good. They have to escape. So unfortunately, if we put them in the kiln, there's a lot of air, it's gonna blow up.
Oh, wow, that ain't good. We're talking 1 of a kind here, but that is like, that's probably a little bit more than what we want here. So, okay, cool. So you definitely have to do this process, you're telling me. You're gonna have to knead it.
If you had a special machine, there are machines that can do this for you.
Right.
But
this is like a workout all built into one too.
Why do that? Why spend money on the machine?
So you can obviously do this in like one motion. I can tell you've done this before. Now, if we weren't here, would you have your music on? Would you totally be into this?
Oh yeah.
Is this second nature to you?
This is totally, I could do it in my sleep. I might actually at night wake up doing this. I don't know.
Oh, that's so awesome. I love it.
Okay,
looks awesome.
So I go ahead and you kind of get this nice little spiral starting to happen, and you can kind of see it in the clay. And then what we do is just kind of ball it up. It's pretty well ready. That's
so
it.
Everything starts as a ball, literally.
Yeah, literally. We say you're going to make a clay ball in your first class. There it is.
There we go. All right, we just need to put 2 eyeballs in him, and there you go. Perfect. Done. All right, and this concludes our show. Thank you so much for joining us today. I'm joking.
Bye, guys.
What else are you going to do? We can't leave him hanging. Come on now.
No, we can't leave him hanging.
Okay.
So were you going to throw it all with me today?
I don't know. Listen, I am all here to watch you and all the wonderfulness of you. So we'll see. We'll see if I'm feeling fancy.
Right. If we feel fancy, we'll make a few more balls, but we'll leave that out, okay?
Okay, sounds good. Yeah, that will be awesome.
All right.
I know you're going to do something great with this.
Yeah, so you guys want to follow me to the wheel?
I believe. I trust. Let's do it.
Okay.
Okay, pit stop. All right, what do we need to do before we get to the wheel? And I'm so anxious, Stephanie, but what is this process and why are we doing it?
Okay, so this is a little piece of drywall.
Okay.
We taped it off. So if you're coming for a class, at this point, you're going to go straight to the wheel.
Yes,
okay.
right.
But when you're a mass production potter, which is kind of what I do, you have to get yourself prepared to make a lot of work.
Okay.
So we have this step, and I like to use the drywall. Some potters use wood. It's a preference. It's what works for you. So this process works for me. So what I do is I go ahead. Now I just put some paper over the drywall because obviously the clay is going to be wet, right? And I don't want to have to get new drywall every single time I do this,
yes.
which is every single week. So I found that if I do a few layers of this paper, it can kind of protect the drywall.
So you're trying to get some moisture out of your clay?
Yeah.
And
so this helps it to set up. Exactly.
Okay.
So this is just a nice surface for the clay ultimately to work from. And then on the opposite side, I have what we call wet boxes. And the boxes are how we kind of will prep all these clay balls, because we've seen the process over there where we were wedging.
Right.
And you could do that every single day, right? I could come out here and I could wedge on my clay, but sometimes it's better for me to come out and wedge 100 clay balls.
So you're telling you
for the whole week.
You have a chest full of snowballs, aka clay balls, at any given time that you could take and mold into something.
Exactly.
Nice.
It's all preparation.
So when you're feeling bored, you need to create, you just grab one and go.
That's right.
Nice. So Stephanie, I see you've got all adjusted here. You've got your stash of your snowballs. I'm sorry. You know what? I grew up in Canada, right? I think about snow and ice. I can't help it. So I see snowballs. You see clay balls. So you've got your stash in front of you. Oh man, you're getting to take out a little bit of frustration there, I see.
Oh yes.
And before you begin, I noticed that you have a couple wheels. Like, is that like as a collector, as a maker, that like, do you love to collect pottery wheels? Do you have the ones that you like are drawn to? Is there a difference?
For me, when I started, really, it was just to have something to work with. And now, like this wheel, for example, it's smaller. It's meant to travel, because when I started, people were asking for demonstrations.
Yes.
Well, the big wheel, which is kind of covered up right now, it's too heavy. We can't take that anywhere. So we kind of went for this guy. The more wheels I can get, and the more space I could have, the more people we get in here, and the more fun we could have, right?
Nice.
So kind of more just for the usefulness of having them.
I gotcha. All right. Okay, let's see it all in action here.
Okay. So basically, when we were talking earlier, you had asked if, people come in and they kind of have this misconception. It's going to be so easy, we're going to do this and I'm going to make a mug today. And I've never touched clay before, but I'm going to do it. So before I even start the lesson, I usually look at the student and I say, I'm going to apologize right now, just because as I go through these steps, it does look very easy.
Okay.
Right? So everyone at home, I want y'all to get excited about taking a pottery class. I do. But also, I don't want you to be
disappointed.
Yeah. Be tricked, right? You're going to see this and be like, I got to get on the wheel.
Make it so easy for us. So let's watch her hands in motion here, guys, and see what she does.
Okay, so this first step is called centering. And what I'm basically doing is exactly what it sounds, is I'm getting the clay in the center of the wheel. And this is a more complex step. So I don't teach the students this initially, but basically what I'm doing is I'm getting any impurities out of the clay. by raising it up and then compressing it back down. And if there's any air, you kind of hear a few bubbles pop here and there, and that's what we want, right? We talked about getting that air out. Okay. So I always show the students this. I say, this is centered, right? You can kind of see it moving around nice and evenly. And the first question, so as they get on the wheel, centering takes a long time. It's very difficult. As you know, you've had a few classes with me now. So I kind of show everyone this, and I'm like, look, it's centered. And then I do this. Not centered, right? Okay, because the first thing they'll ask is they'll go like this for a few minutes, they'll wrestle, they'll go, is it centered? No, no,
That's
right?
a little wonky.
Not centered. Okay, so I just like to do that to tease, but also to kind of show you. Because how do you know? You're just doing this for the first time.
That's right. This is why we all have teachers. And I see the sign that you have in front of you there, Stephanie, that says every artist was first an amateur.
Yep.
True that. So when you think about that, like, and where you started, what was your first piece like? I mean, did it fly off the wheel?
Oh.
Were you embarrassed?
I actually was horrendous at the wheel. So I was going to school for art education, and the way that it works is they basically have you take all the beginning levels of every type of art, painting and drawing, ceramics, photography, everything. My first clay class was wonderful because it was all hand building. And I was a natural at hand building. I was just something about getting my hands on the clay. I never had that experience before. I knew I always loved art. Like that was something I knew I was always going to do. And I thought that I was going to draw and paint. I thought that was my life. And then I touched clay and it just changed everything.
What do you think makes a good potter? Like, what are the characteristics that if somebody's interested in this, like, what do you think, knowing what you know, what's the good qualities for a potter? Patience?
Persistence, yeah.
Realism?
Not being afraid to understand your limitations and then working beyond that. Because with pottery, it does take so much patience and practice. You have to be okay with making a lot of mistakes and just learning from them. That's really the key. It's just being patient with yourself. It's a struggle because at first, I mean, you see someone do this and you're like, yeah, mine's gonna be like that, and the walls are gonna be thin and even, and I'm gonna drink coffee out of it, and I'm gonna do all these things. And your first piece, and I can show you guys one of my first pieces.
Oh, let's do it. I say we do it. I say we do it.
And you know, I'm not embarrassed of it because, you know, that's where I started. And you just have to keep practicing, getting better and better. And you have to always be willing to push the clay beyond its limits. Just get it to that place where you're not afraid to keep challenging it. Most recently, how I've been challenging the clay is doing some non-utilitarian pieces. So stuff that you wouldn't necessarily eat out of. But I've been trying to do some glass fusion with the clay.
So you travel all throughout our viewing area and you do your shows. What do you think, or what are you seeing are the most popular pieces that people are picking up for their collections?
So my best seller are my spoon rests.
I could see.
And I have some spoon rests down there on the bottom shelf we can definitely show you guys.
Yeah.
And it sounds silly because it's like, oh, it's a spoon rest. But what I do is I throw a cylinder very similar to this. I'm starting to shape it now into kind of a more mug shape. But I would throw it very tall and then I would cut the front off and then the spoon stands upright. So people just love that.
Cool. Do you do different collections? Like, do you do one style? I mean, you're an artist, so you probably want to try different styles, right?
So in college, I did a lot of experimenting. And I found that in college, I was really growing myself as an artist. And then when you get into the real world, you know, most people just don't quite understand that, becoming an artist, being an artist. So I did a lot of representations in college of talking about the way that America kind of uses, you know, pottery. So basically I had noticed this trend in Europe where, you know, people actually do sit down and have these meals together. And in America, we're eating fast food in the car, right? So I had made this small collection of pieces that you really had to think about how you would use it. It wouldn't be perfect like this, right? So it would be hard to hold, it would be hard to eat out of, so it forced you to slow down. But then I take that to a show and explain that to someone and they're like, okay, that's nice. Where are the mugs I can buy that look normal that I can drink up? So I definitely adjusted my style to the more utilitarian type when I got out of school. And I'm still working on some collections for museums and things, but I've been so busy. I guess you'd say this is my bread and butter, you know, traveling to these shows. I've been so busy building my business and doing classes. That's on the back burner, but so in the fall, I'll do darker colors.
I did notice that you have lights to darks, like to fun colors, some earthy colors.
Yeah, we
So you do a
have
little bit of everything?
We have about 42 different colors. So I can do special orders for people. Like, let's say you have an all red kitchen and you got to have red. We can do that. The collections that I carry on hand. Should we reshoot that part because of the truck?
Oh, no, you're good. Well, you can say it again now.
Okay, sorry. I didn't know if there was like outside noise if we should stop.
You're good.
So if you have an all red kitchen and you got to have something red, we can totally do that. We can take any kind of special order. But I find that I have, you know, different sets that sell better. So I always keep those on stock. I call it Jade and Brown. It's one of my best sellers. It's like a really bright teal and then a wash of brown. It's really beautiful. I have a color we call Purple Mint. And it's a white wash on the outside with these tan bursts, and then the inside has a purple green kind of combination. So that's a top seller. And then for the fall, we have like a brown and a green combination that's darker, and that works pretty well for the fall. We do that.
All sound yummy. Oh my goodness.
Would you hand me that wire there?
I sure can. It could be my contribution today. There you go.
Thank you.
Can you believe it? Like, yeah. I mean, it looks perfect. I mean, imperfectly perfect. I'm sure you don't strive for perfection, but it's beautiful. It's absolutely beautiful.
Yeah, I always tell people, you know, sometimes it's really funny. We'll go to a show and someone will pick it up, and everyone's opinion obviously is different. You know, they'll pick it up, oh, this is really heavy, and then someone will come over, and this is really light, same piece, you know. Or, oh, you know, I kind of noticed, looks like you got a little smudge there, or you got something here. And I always love to look at people and say, if you wanted something perfect, you should just go to Walmart.
Get it factory produced.
Just go to Walmart.
This is what you say, a labor of love, and it's completely handmade. Guys, come take a look at this piece. Isn't this not beautiful? Oh, it's gorgeous. So I'm admiring all these other pieces that this is what you call throwing clay, right? We talked about at the beginning. So this is throwing clay. You throw it on the wheel, you make something beautiful out of it.
That's right.
So all these pieces that she's thrown, guys, over here, take a look at them. Aren't they beautiful? So is this stuff that you've been working on recently, Stephanie?
Yeah.
Like, I mean, these have color. So this is a final stage, right?
Yeah, so these are some class pieces. So I kind of laid them out for you guys to see. So these are my students. They age from 9 to 50.
Getting them started young, heck yeah.
Yep, so these are just some great things that they've come up with. And then on the shelves here is some work I have in progress. So all this stuff is still wet clay.
I can feel it still like wet and cold.
It's what we call greenware.
Okay.
And I always tell people there's this like misconception. People think everything is greenware, you know, when it's at this white phase of bisque, and when it's totally thin, they're like, it's all greenware. You know, greenware is just simply when the clay is drying, right? It's in process. So kind of like that mug I just threw, I have a few mugs here that are in process, and you can kind of see what the end result, this guy, you can kind of see what that mug would kind of look like with the handle kind of starting. Now this handle isn't attached yet, so this is like in progress, starting to get it attached. And then we have, let's see, little bowls down here, some ring holders, just different things. You know, these mugs here, you can see the handles are totally attached, but at this stage, I still wouldn't grab by the handle, right? It's not fired yet. Okay. So it's still, I'm being very gentle with it.
So in a quick like timeline summary, we would take it from the wheel. Yep. You're gonna let it air dry over here.
Exactly.
Put it on your drywall, and then you give it about how long before it gets to go and get fired?
Yeah, so we're gonna refine. So basically we take it off the wheel, we bring it here, it can set up overnight. Obviously at that stage, if I picked it up and I tried to fix the bottom of it, it would be mush, right? So this has been drying since Saturday, very slowly, covered in plastic. I'll go ahead, refine the bottom, I'll stamp it and I'll sign it. Okay, and then it sets for about a week just to dry.
Okay. And then it goes into the big shiny kiln.
Yes. So after it's dried for about a week and I know that it's ready to go, I load it up into the kiln. The kiln can fit about 80 to 100 pieces.
Should we show them? Should we take a look?
Yeah, let's show
I
'em.
want to see how deep this thing is.
Okay.
So you're telling me you can fit 80 pieces into that?
Or more, depending.
Or more.
So like
Okay.
a fire like this load that we have coming, there's lots of small things like little tea bag holders and ring holders, and I call them dip cups. They're for like dressings like ketchup or ranch.
Yeah.
But we sell tons of those are fun. So in a fire like this, we could fit 150 pieces maybe.
Wow. Let's take a look. Let's
Okay.
look down.
Yeah, let's go.
Okay.
Here it is.
Is this your giant oven?
This is the giant oven, and it's funny, I do explain it to kids that way. I'm gonna open this so you guys can see a little bit over here too. So as I have someone for class, I walk them over here, I show them the kiln. It's a Scott automatic kiln. It plugs into electric. It's not a gas kiln, so no fire comes out of this. It has coils on the inside that heat. Those are elements. It's gonna slowly heat and then slowly cool.
So it's like my crock pot,
It's
only
like
a
your-
bigger version.
Yes.
Okay.
It can fire to 3,000 degrees. How
Okay, a
high is
little
your
hotter.
crock pot there?
Not quite.
Okay.
Not quite.
So, I bring the guys over here and I say, here are some examples as to why we do things the way we do. So I show them the top plate there. That's a nice example of a blowout.
Oh.
And that's
okay.
air or moisture in the clay.
Oh, I gotcha.
And that,
We do not want this to happen.
yeah, that little guy you're pointing at there is a great example of something that got overfired. So they call that a meltdown.
Yeah. I think I'd be having a meltdown. No, I finally got to stay together on the
Believe
wheel.
it or not,
Now it broke.
that was a bowl. It was actually a bowl. It looks like a plate today. The student was we have two different clay bodies we fire here, kind of a low fire and then a mid fire. And if you overfire your low fire, that's what it looks like.
We don't want
Yeah,
that
so
to
we
happen.
have a little system, and I kind of joke about it and show everyone that so they know when I ask them to do something special on the bottom,
Yeah.
there's a reason, right?
Listen to Miss Stephanie. She
Yes.
knows what she's talking about.
So this is the kiln
so
here.
we're gonna reach down into this thing?
Yes. So basically what I would do is I would kind of like fill up the tables here. We'd clean the bottoms really well. We'd make sure everything, so if we were doing a bisque fire, we'd make sure everything was smooth, right, and totally dry. So we might sand some pieces because obviously once it fires, it's how it's going to stay.
So we want to polish it.
Okay, yeah. So what I would do, open this guy up here. You can take a look.
I'm
So-
gonna touch her feelers. So
Yeah,
this,
you
This
can.
is like ceramic or a brick, or
This
what
is
this?
brick.
Brick. Okay.
Yes,
You
so you
build
get
all
it-
your shelves and you stack. Wow.
That's it.
Wow, wow, wow. And let it cool down and take them all out and then we
Yeah.
glaze.
So I like it to be under 100 degrees. Very
Yeah.
slow cool. So the process of it heating up slowly and cooling slowly is very important. So a lot of gases have to leave the clay. And if it doesn't, you could get blistering or bloating. The clay kind of like expands because those gases have to release. And if they don't, it alters your piece ultimately.
So it's nice that you're able to work here, have your garage door open, you have your fans going down. So I'm assuming this happens when you're not in the studio. Like, do you
Yeah.
let it while you're sleeping?
We
and
do it
dreaming
overnight.
of all your next
That's
creations?
exactly it. So
Yeah.
I have a little vent system behind it. We put the fans on it. It's nice. It's a good neighborhood. Sometimes we leave the bay totally open. Because what you want is it's an oxidation fire is what they call it. So it needs oxygen in order to do all the things it has to do. So we have these, they're called peepholes. And we leave this one open, and the vent actually vents from the bottom. So when I'm getting it to cool, I can release all these peeps. They just come right out.
Oh.
Yep, just like that, real simple.
Yep.
And I do that sometimes around 200 degrees just to help the cooling process a little bit.
Nice. So we want to make sure that we have our color on. We spoke briefly about glazing. This all takes place before it goes in.
Yeah.
So when it comes out, dun, 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 let's see one of your finished pieces
It's
and
like
hold it.
it's like Christmas.
You gonna show
know?
us one of your first ones again?
Oh,
Like,
yeah.
yeah.
So, okay.
You gotta hold her to that, guys, right? You gotta hold her to that.
Okay.
We all have dreams, Stephanie. We need to see where you
So
started.
let me show you one of the very first pieces.
Okay.
And then I'm going to show you a little bit of that. I was telling you guys about that project I did where you had to really think about using the piece.
Yes.
Okay. Okay. Are you ready?
Okay, I'm either gonna think that she's just absolutely amazing when I see this, or go like, I can do that too. Oh, see,
Ta-da!
see, listen, but yours still looks razzle-dazzled and pretty amazing. Like, that is no, like,
It's really sad, but that's okay.
That's amazing.
I love this.
this is your first one.
This is my first
And you
one.
did all this.
Yes.
All the things. And there's color.
I was playing with all these textures, and I have moved it to something I do today. Oh, I can show you guys that. So this was
Wow.
the beginning.
Yeah,
These
it's
were
beautiful.
the let's experiment weird
Can I
things.
hold
So
it?
yeah, of course.
You trust me?
Yes, I do.
You trust me. All right.
So at the time I was working at a bakery, and I loved this artist, Lisa Orr. And she does these piping and these sprigs where she pushes things on. So all these things are pushed on and piped on with a cake decorating bag.
Oh,
okay.
You know what? I see.
You can see
a little
it.
bit of decorating. I recognize now that you say
Yes.
that. Isn't that neat, guys?
And then it kind of traveled. So it went from that.
Love your use of colors that you put on here, Stephanie. And I wanted to hold it just to see how heavy it was. And I mean, I know you say everybody says something is different. I would say this is a heavy piece, right? Like if you put this on your table and you fill it with whatever you drink from it, it's going to be a more substantial piece. Would you say?
Yeah.
Would you consider this heavy?
Let me see. I don't remember. Yes, I would consider it heavy.
It's awesome. And what do you use it for today?
Most pieces are. Actually, we use it for all of our paintbrushes.
Yeah.
Because I love to show the students.
Yes.
I got to show them, because sometimes when you start, it can be disheartening.
Yes.
Because you are under that misconception that you're like, I'm going to do this.
This is
Because that's how I
beautiful.
was. So, I said I was a natural hand builder. It took me 3 years to get even close to good at throwing. It just wasn't something that I had a good grasp on.
So this is what you're saying. You use your pieces for like
Yeah.
your brush holders. How fun. So you get to keep all the stuff and
All the trial stuff, all the things that maybe, weren't perfect.
to be surrounded by this every day. Does it just make you happy to come in here?
Oh yeah. Oh my. I mean, I love it. I'm addicted. I don't know. It gives me purpose, and it gives other people the chance to see that they could follow their dreams. They could do something that's unconventional, and everyone told them they probably shouldn't do it. You should probably just have a regular job, and you can do this on the side. Everyone told me, this is a really nice hobby. This is really good. But I try to explain, there's just no such thing as a hobby potter. Some people really call themselves that, and I give them credit if they do. But I feel like if you do pottery, you're just totally invested. I don't know how you could even take that from yourself because of all the work you put in. Like how, I don't know. To me, a hobby is something you do occasionally when you have some downtime just for fun. This is my life.
This is your life.
That's my life.
All right, let's see how your life transformed to when
Okay.
you start to where she is now,
Okay,
guys.
so
on that note.
this was
The
the
beloved
first one,
piece.
right? And these were to follow. So they got thinner.
Love your
right?
use of color.
The texture got thinner as well. So it kind of had, so these were some of those pieces, sorry, they're a little dusty, that I talked about. You had to really think about how to use it, because when you pick these up, they do have presses, but you have to like find them, right? So that was kind of the concept of that. But then when you do, they actually do kind of feel nice. And then maybe you can appreciate what's in here because you actually had to work for it a little bit.
True that.
Yeah. So today, I'll grab that just to show you guys today what I can do with the slip now. So I got commissioned to do, Fayette County has this awesome logo. It's a sun, it's mountains, it's water, it's everything Fayette County is. It's like wheat. So this is actually that slip. So all of this transitions into this, right? Into figuring it out more into something like this. So we have, some wheat, we have a sun with the little swoosh for their logo.
That is
and this
beautiful.
one's pretty awesome. It's mountains.
So will
Right,
this be
water.
an entire collection that will be available here in Fayette County?
Yeah, so if you go to any of the visitor centers and a lot of other places, they're going to have all of these, and they're going to all be kind of limited and special edition.
Well, we know they're super special.
Yeah.
And guys, we got to see where they're made. You guys even get to see them before she makes them all pretty, because I know
Yeah.
you're going to add some color, right?
Yeah, so these guys, they're BIS fired, so we can handle them, but now they need the glaze. So we were
my
talking about the
gosh.
kiln and the fires. Everything goes through 2 fires. So you wait till it dries, you put it in, you fire it, you take it out, you glaze it, and you fire it again.
I can't wait to see how these turn out. Last question I have to ask, will you ever stop creating? What's in the future for Stephanie? Look what's on the horizon, literally for you.
It's hard to say. Every time I think I have something worked out, it changes, but it's always for the better. We're hoping in the next few years to have a brand new studio built, maybe a place that could have a storefront, more wheels, more open to the community events, some free events, get people involved, give people an opportunity to come throw who maybe couldn't afford it or would want to try, just to try something new. It's really important to me to get art back into our community and make it important for people again. To kind of inspire people to see if their kids want to go to school for art, don't hold them back. Actually embrace it. Let them,
Flourish.
You might be stopping the next Monet. You just never know. If someone went back in time and told Bach never to play his music, we'd have missed out. I mean, it's sad to say, I think the world probably has missed out on some great artists because of our culture today.
That's
So,
amazing.
yeah.
And I think that's a great thought to leave the show on. What do you guys think? Stephanie, thank you so much. I got to give you a hug. Seriously, you're just like huggable. Thank you so much for what you do for our community and just the inspiration, just hanging out. I don't even know what to say. I'm speechless. It was awesome. So just keep on creating and being you.
Thank you.
All right.
Oh, yeah.
Wow. When there's a knocking inside, sometimes you've just got to answer. Wasn't Stephanie an amazing chat today? I hope you guys are feeling super inspired right now. And I have to tell you, I have no idea where I'm going to go to next. Maybe I'm going to come to your neighborhood. I don't even know. But guys, listen up. If you have somebody that you would love to see us feature on Meet the Maker, we would love to hear from you. Love to hear from you, all right? So start thinking on it. I'll be waiting to hear from you. Bye.